KFWB News Talk 980. My name is Les Brown, and we thank you so much for joining us. You know, if you're not aware of it, and I'm sure you are, over a million American homeowners lost their homes last year, and 1 million will lose their homes this year. Anna Cuevas, she can speak to this and has answers for this crisis. 6.7 million homeowners currently in some sort of mortgage default. Anna, thank you for being here with us. I want to know, how did you become involved in this area?
Thank you so much for having me on, Les. I appreciate it. I became involved because I was in the mortgage industry, and I'm an ex-bank executive. And since people knew that I used to work for a lender, they started asking me questions and started asking me for help. And I quickly realized that I could take my knowledge of guidelines and interpreting guidelines and turn that into helping homeowners to stop this foreclosure crisis in their own neighborhoods and communities. And so what happened was that as I helped one person, I saw that it wasn't that difficult if I just used the same principles that I used when I was helping them to get a loan, now to help them fix their loan.
One of the things you say when you're meeting with your lender, you need to know what they know. What do you mean by that?
Well, I believe that if the homeowner understands the guidelines and understands what the lender's going to be looking at, and they go through all of that process, and it could avoid some of that stress and staying up all night wondering if you'll get approved, because you're going to know exactly what the bank's going to see, and you're going to know exactly what you need to do in your household, what things you need to clean up, what priorities you need to have to be able to save your home.
What's the 5 common mistakes that people can avoid when they're dealing with trying to keep their home?
One of the first things that they can avoid is just guessing. So sitting down, taking a complete inventory of your financial situation, and also noting down what guidelines are specific to whatever program you're applying to is the first 2 things that I suggest that people do. The second thing is just taking the lender's word for it. If you're declined, and just accepting what they tell you is not the right thing to do, because there's thousands and thousands of people that are getting hired at these lenders that might have been working at Target last week, and this week they're declining your loan modification. So it's important that you know more than they do, because you won't know if an error is made if you don't know that an error is made.
Okay, all right. Now listen, if you have any questions, if you're in that place where you want to save your home without losing your mind or your money, I want you to call now. She's a resource, Anna Cuevas, and she can answer questions that you might have. The number to call is 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980, 888-539-2980. My attorney and my very good friend, I want to thank you so much, Attorney Sean Arnold, for being willing to engage in this conversation. I'm prepared. You had no idea I was going to call on you. Now, what is the status on your home right now? What are you doing? Are you working to keep your home? Are you fighting not to lose your home?
Well, thank you, Les. I am one of those millions of people that you were talking about, Ms. Cuevas. I was downsized from the law firm that I ran the transaction department for the better part of 6 years. Last year, I had a wonderful amount of savings, and so I've been able to keep myself afloat. But this year, and I've been dealing with my mortgage lender for the last 2 years in trying to modify the loan, and they've been playing games. I mean,
you say playing games. What do you mean by that?
For example, I call them 4 months in a row and ask them to send me certain documents that they're telling me I need from them in order to make the process happen. And I'm calling them, and I'm calling them, and I'm calling them.
And they have not sent you the documents?
No. They haven't sent me what I need.
Yeah, they're playing games.
Absolutely, they're playing games. And so this year I find that I just sat down and I did the math. The house is a wonderful house, beautiful house, 4 bedrooms, pool in the backyard, sitting on a golf course community, a lovely house, and I would love to keep it. However, it's worth less than half what I owe on it. I could literally go right next door and rent the house there for less than half of my note. By the time the house recovers its value, let's just say it makes 2% a year. No, let's go crazy and say it makes 10% a year. By the time the house recovers its value, I will have dumped hundreds of thousands of dollars into a hole. My question is, why should I keep this house? Why should I not just drop the keys in the mailbox and walk away and be just another drip in that pool of mortgage mess?
Yeah. Now, should she keep the house or should she walk away?
I believe that's a real personal decision. I don't think that's something that
But given the numbers, let's take the person out of it and let's look at the numbers and look at the scenario that she just painted.
If you look at the numbers and you're only looking at this from a financial standpoint, then the answer is possibly no, but you wouldn't really know until you see what the bank is willing to offer. And so my suggestion is she's in this far. She should just keep going, pushing the envelope and try to see what she could possibly negotiate with the lender before she makes that kind of a decision.
Have they offered you anything?
No, absolutely nothing. I get silence. I get it's in consideration. You'll hear in 30 days, and that was about 18 months ago.
Okay, so what do you do in that kind of situation where the bank is not responding?
Well, first of all, you also have to take a step back and look and see, are you already in the position where you're able to make the payment if they were to come back with an offer? So a lot of times people want to hurry up and get an answer, but they don't have the new job yet. They're still on unemployment. They're still in a bad predicament. So it's just almost like, hurry up and let's lose the house quickly, right? So I tell people, take a step back, and maybe it's a blessing.